I think my first investments were when I was a high school student. In fact, my first entrepreneurial acts, I have to give my dad credit for, because we set up a joint venture between my brother and I and my dad, and we operated a market garden. The deal was Dad would provide the equipment and the sons would provide the labor. I spent my whole summer trimming the garlic bulb so that it was in marketable form. Paid off in subsequent years when the price of garlic went up. So business dishes up some of the most interesting problems that humanity has to face. What in the way of theory can inform the puzzle? What in the way of frameworks will help us understand the complex reality of everyday business? Good management, I think, is evidence-based, theory-informed, and what I call insight-driven. And what I've tried to do is combine all three, and saw the opportunity to actually create a new business model and a new compensation model that was particularly suitable for academics. So that led to designing a very distinctive little company that had at its core what we call today the expert model. I suppose with hindsight, an innovation in business models, certainly it was an innovation in compensation models, and it's proven its worth both in the LECG context and in the Berkeley Research Group.
My name is Kim Starr, and I'm the Chief Accounting Officer at Berkeley Research Group. It was very clear that what they were doing was a brand new concept. It was pretty exciting. They were academics at Berkeley who were starting this expert consulting firm.
I was a young assistant professor and I got a call from the Senate Judiciary to see if I was interested in testifying on the question of whether a particular piece of legislation made any economic sense as a response to the 73-74 oil crisis.
I'm a professor here at the Haas School of Business. I've known David for 25 years. He's active not only in the classroom, but he's also active in organizing conferences and events that really enrich the academic life here.
There are many ways that the Haas School contributes to the innovation ecosystem. We develop leaders who redefine how we do business. This is a disrupting environment, a disrupting time, and the idea that we want to be on the forefront of how things are evolving and shape both undergrad and grad students in a way to contribute to that.
Because of my academic training and interest in research and familiarity with the literature, I had the courage, I suppose, to come up with a new model. We provide expert services. We're the Berkeley Research Group. Research is in our name, is one of the key foundations of what makes us different.
One of the things that they were doing, which was very unusual at the time and very different from what I was used to at a large accounting firm, he recognized that if you were really going to incent people, that you would have to compensate them in a different way. It was an idea that you would get a percentage of your billings to a client, not only the billings, but you also had to collect. It's very exciting to work for somebody like David that has so much excitement about what he's doing.
I've always loved real estate. I love land. Coming from New Zealand, one always has a love for the land. I like assets, despite the fact that I write a lot about intangible assets, also like tangible assets that you can tick the tires off. You know, I've always liked to think I'm a practical guy. You know, I can fix a leaky tap. I understand how construction works, and I enjoy it. In the city of Berkeley and in tackling the student housing problem, I was able to team up with Patrick Kennedy, who was deeply invested in understanding the local community and understanding the interests and concerns of the city council.
The current method of providing affordable housing is unwieldy, expensive, and insufficient for the needs facing the city today. And so I think actually the affordable housing enterprise would benefit from a lot of the lessons of private businesses.
We were together able to actually get the city to approve developments that were economically viable. Mount Beautiful, I suppose, expressed a long-standing interest I had in agriculture and in wine. Where I was brought up in New Zealand was, where I was born was a town called Blenheim. And at the time I was born, there was no wine industry there. I went off to graduate school in the United States. When I came back, the whole region had changed and it had become the #1 place in the planet for Sauvignon Blanc. I thought that, there had to be some areas that had yet to be discovered. To go find, create, and build a brand new region was a challenge that I thought, well, gee, if I could pull off something like that, that would not only be interesting and creative, but you'd actually have a chance to build some competitive advantage. There was opportunity to actually get involved in what was a Sheraton resort on an island called Vomo, which is the closest island in the Uzawa chain in Fiji, a beautiful island. It's got an incredibly unusual risk profile because you're investing alongside native tribes. It's not a perpetual lease. This is a most interesting strategic business problem for which no one has written a case, let alone a textbook. Of course, that's just the kind of thing that's catnip for me because it means you have to think about everything from first principles. It's the #1 family resort in the South Pacific. It's a place that you'll all visit one day. Strategic management, of course, teaches you there has to be a non-imitable point of difference or difficult to imitate point of difference. So with Juicy, which is a youth brand, it's essentially taken modern American cars and converts them into campers. If you're familiar with the literature and familiar with cases, the answers come relatively easy, and then it's just a matter of getting the job done.
I'm best known for having started the North Face. I met David through a lot of common friends that we have. We got seriously engaged when the opportunity to buy into Canterbury of New Zealand happened. Canterbury was an iconic New Zealand company that made apparel and was the primary sponsor for the All Blacks, which is the rugby team in New Zealand. David is one of those people that can do things. He can be a plumber. He's always worked from a farm standpoint, so he isn't just the academic. And so he jumped in and really took over the leadership of this company operationally as well as from an investment standpoint and assumed many of the roles which we thought we were going to have to provide. It's a unique capacity to be able to understand how to do it, to somehow work out the time to be able to do it, and then simultaneously to continue to remember that what the umbrella is, what the framework is, what the North Star is that he's trying to pursue.
The Strategic Management Society is a group of initially American academics that have now become a global academic group. And they were really created to help promote the study and the practice of strategy in organizations. They've created an award named after one of the leaders in that group, a man named C.K. Prahalad, known for being somebody who was both a very active, engaged academic contributor, who was also deeply connected to many companies.
I did know C.K. Prahalad. He was a very energetic and very brilliant academic. He brought passion, energy, vigor, and insight. He was unquestionably a thought leader, but also was very active through much of his career in advising management, and in particular CEOs.
To my way of thinking, David is both a brilliant and perhaps an obvious choice for this award.
I hope to use my training in economics and in management, and particularly my understanding of technological innovation, to help come up with some new foundations for what the global order might look like. On a personal level, yes, I like to continue to sail. I love the outdoors. I love cities. So many wonderful things out there to be engaged with. But there's nothing better than a big, messy problem that has far-reaching implications to get me excited. It's not enough just to understand how markets work. You have to understand how businesses work, and that's where the Strategic Management Society can really play a significant role. Bringing the expertise, we're all privileged here that we've been incredibly well trained. We've had resources to do research. We now have to apply that knowledge to help bring about a better world for everybody.